What's up? What's happening? You already know who it is and what it is. It's your boy, Nephew Q, host of Conversations with Q, a show about life, love, entertainment, society, culture, sports, and everything in between. But before we get into it, I need everybody to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Conversations with Q22, or listen to the podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. And also, make sure you check out this book, Young, Dumb, and Naive by Alicia Caldwell Henderson. It is a great read. You can find it on Amazon. Make sure you pick that book up today. But let's get into today's guest. We have Marnese Jackson. Now, for you who are unfamiliar with her, she is from Pontiac, Michigan. Now, let me rattle off a list of things that for Miss Marnese Jackson here. Now, she was let's get this. She holds a master's degree, right? Correct, from Eastern Michigan, and art degree from Mary Grove College, and social justice, specializing in environmental, economic, and racial justice. Marnese is also a board member of the USCAN. She is a membership chairperson of the Michigan Environmental Justice Coalition, a environmental and climate justice chairperson of the NAACP Northern Oakland County branch. Marnese is a 2020 Michigan Clean Energy Leaders Cohort member and a 350.org BIPOC cohort member. Marnese was also appointed in 2021 to the Governor Whitmer's Michigan Council of Climate Solutions. So if you ain't figured it out by now, Marnese is a big deal up in Michigan. Let's give her a Conversations with Q. Welcome, Miss Marnese Jackson. How you doing today?
Thank you so much, Q, for having me here. And wow, that's a lot. I gotta eat.
I mean, and then on top of that, let's just throw in the most accomplished thing that you've done in your life. You're a mother of two. How old are your kids?
London, she's 14, and Dawson, he is 10.
Ooh, 14 to 10. How's that 14-year-old? How's that working out for you?
You know, between her stealing my hoodies and the mood swings, and she kicking my tail. I'm
almost there because I'll have a 14-year-old daughter next month, so I'm just trying to get prepared for what's coming down the hatch. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not prepared for it. I am not ready whatsoever for my 14-year-old.
And you never will be. Honestly, it's something different every day. I'm like, man, this ain't it.
They didn't tell us about that, but let's get into this conversation that I want to have with you. Let's talk about a little bit of your upbringing. Let the people know where you're from, your upbringing, and what made you get into the whole environmental thing. We'll get into the social justice part, but you normally don't see a lot of African Americans really getting involved with the environment and the climate and things of that nature. So we'll talk about that second. But talk to us a little bit about your upbringing. Where'd you go to school at? Have at it, Miss Marnese.
All right. Well, I was born actually in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And my mother migrated up here. She met my father. He's not my biological, but he's my father because he was my father since I was 1 year old.
Right.
They got married, and I live in Pontiac, Michigan, which is a smaller city outside of Detroit, Michigan. Same demographics, majority Black, Brown, Latino, Asian community, white people, low income to upper income. It just depends on what side of town you stay on. Same issues as Detroit, Flint, are those cities that have like issues, social issues. And so I went to school on the west side. Okay. The best side for those who.
Okay.
So, the west side went to Washington, Webster, and Pontiac Central. So that's a big thing here in Pontiac. That's a longtime rival. I am a chief, and for those who are going to see this, they're gonna know what's what. Okay, it's always about the west side, chief's house, and the other side of town don't really matter. So
okay, well, we just gonna leave it at that. I don't know nothing about that, and I'm not gonna get caught the crossfire. But now, how far is Pontiac from Flint?
Okay, so I sit in the middle, so it takes me because I drive fast. Maybe about 30 minutes. to go to Flint, and it takes me about 20 minutes to go to Detroit. Just depends on what side, because Detroit is really big. So, yeah.
So best one. Did you involve in sports coming through high school or in college or anything like that?
So in high school, I consider myself as a leader. I was a leader. I was the student class president. I did run track. I played softball, but found out softball wasn't for me because I got hit in the face.
Oh Lord!
And I'm like, so I'm not doing that no more. But I was I was on homecoming. I made homecoming court, student class president, was involved in student government. So pretty much that's where I got going into the social justice and environmental justice, because I'm an advocate for people and the underdog.
The underdog role. Okay. So before we get into these other questions, somebody wanted me to ask you about the Flint water crisis that's going on. Since you're really involved with the environment and everything, what's your take? How can it be resolved? What steps are being taken to resolve it? Because it's not in the national news anymore. So a lot of people have actually forgotten about it. So tell me what's going on with Flint and the water crisis and what's going on with that.
So Flint residents still do not have clean water. So this is more of an infrastructure thing now. As people know, the city was attached to a lead-infested water system. And so that means the city ended up having lead in their water, and this is going to be an ongoing issue in regards to health, economics, bouncing back. But people in Flint do not still have clean water. They have access to, of course, water, like bottled water and things like that. But to say it's safe, it's not. It just depends on, I guess, what side of town you're sitting on. So in my appointed position, I am a part of the Clean, Healthy Michigan plan, where the governor wants to make sure that things like this doesn't happen again. Now, Flint residents, I have heard for Flint residents taking on this to the next steps of getting reparations for the harm and to repair the harm, because this happened on another governor's watch and nothing happened. So the next step is to get reparations and repair the damage. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these residents, they will have health issues, ongoing health issues. It's kind of like when, as Black Americans, we fight for reparations for enslavement. It's the same thing. You have to repair the harm. However, you can't really solve the issue now because it's going to have long-lasting effects. So now I believe that will be the next step for Flint residents. And by the way, Detroit has a lead water issue. And then Grand Rapids, Michigan, and other cities in Michigan have issues. So this is just a national thing. Other cities like Jackson, Mississippi, Baltimore, Maryland, they have water infrastructure issues. So now that we have our Inflation Reduction Act that was passed by the federal government, this is an opportunity for those funds to help out with these infrastructure issues, water, the pipes, and things like that. So for us, if you're having water issues or water quality issues, it's time to make sure that those funds go to local communities like Flint, Jackson, Baltimore.
Now, you said that there's lead in the water and it's going to be an ongoing issue and it's an infrastructure type of thing. Is there technically really anything they can structurally do to fix that and give these people clean water?
Yes, they got to change the pipes. They got to make sure that they're clean. So that's what the infrastructure part is. They got to go through that whole process because everybody has their own water department or authority. So they're going to have to just pretty much gut everything and change the pipes.
So what's the hold up then? If all they got to do is clean, is it like $1 billion project or something like that?
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Like, they don't want to invest in like Black, brown, low income cities, right?
Got you.
They'd rather for us to get displaced to another city so they can take over that city, build it up. After they displace all of us to other surrounding cities where we can't really afford to live, or they may not be able to afford to live, like the suburbs. And so they're going to build back up the city, right? And bring in more affluent, most likely white people that can afford it. So I'm going to say this, that this is not just a racial issue. This is an economic issue because there are white poor people in Flint who experience this as well.
So what I gather from that is it's almost like a gentrification type of thing where
Yes.
they're almost waiting it out for people to move, and then they'll come in and fix the pipes and things of that nature and get people clean water again. Is that a safe assumption?
Hey, yes.
What you was about to say? Hey, you said it, not me. You said it. Now,
Yes.
there also been another situation where the train got derailed in Ohio and the chemicals spilled over and whatever. What's your thoughts on that?
So
Come on, baby, give it to me straight. No chaser.
so this is always going to be an environmental impact, especially if it's going into cities that can't bounce back. But we can't prevent like trails and stuff like that. Those accidents happen. It's what you do after the fact to clean it up, right? But then the harms that was the stuff that was on the train, that's the part that was harmed. Why are we keep bringing stuff or nasty stuff from other communities into other communities, which will cause a bigger issue? So it has to stop with the corporations we get in bed with. It has to stop with our government as well, because they play a part in this. So and that's where the environmental and climate movement happened in the 60s and the 70s. You know, these trucks that were going through a historically Black low income community in North Carolina, they were laced with PCBs and toxic chemicals, but it was going into a Black, brown, low income community. So it has to stop there. We have to make sure that these political government organizations and corporations just stop. We dump so much into, globally, the US, we dump so much into states, I mean, not states, but countries in the South, right? The Gulf South. But then also Canada brings their trash into our communities. So it has to stop. And who's allowing that? The government.
Well, the government is behind a lot of stuff, but we ain't gonna get into that. We ain't gonna get into that. Now, in 2018, you was a part of Mothers Out Front. Explain to me what that organization was.
So it's the same thing. It's a climate. It's a mother-led organization, making sure that the kids have a clean, healthy future, because our kids are going to inherit the earth, right? So we focused on making sure that we get mothers involved, because mothers essentially is the first people, and I may be biased about this, but I'm not really, though, because I know fathers step up and do their thing too. But majority of the time, mothers are the ones who care for the children, who are going to be the first advocates. And so these mothers started this organization to make sure that we have a livable future for our children who are going to be impacted by these climate and environmental issues that are happening. So we focused a lot on electric school buses, because that's, kids ride the school bus, and those harmful fumes are harming our kids, and then also the air, and then other people in their surroundings. And also switching from gas stoves to electric, because if you have a gas stove, it's harming you. You can get asthma, you can get upper respiratory diseases and things of that nature. Yes, this stuff is boring. However, it's a health impact related to this. That's what I don't know. I was so into science and geeky stuff like that. That's why it's so exciting to me. But then I'm finding out, oh, those CO2 emissions that we learned in that periodic table is hurting us.
Listen, I've been on this earth for 39 years, right? And in my 39 years in my adult life, you are the first person to reference a periodic table as an adult. Now that must mean I need to hang around some smarter people or something, because I ain't never in my adult life heard somebody bring up the periodic table in a conversation. So I need new friends. But so bringing up the periodic table, and you said you was into science, in which first and foremost, kids get into science. Like that is a undiscovered subject for African Americans, but please, Black kids, get into science. But anyways, what got you into science? Did it start in high school, or did it start in a college and you wanted to get into environment? What I really want to know is, when did the environmental and climate justice part of you click in?
So I am more into the I'm in the middle. I'm more of my left brain, but I do dabble into the creative side. So that means I like math and science. Most men like math. So I was better at math and science versus English and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I can write a paper, but I ain't like it. I didn't. I don't know. I want to.
She ain't with the writing papers.
No. Mm-mm. So I got interested into the environmental field when Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005. I was an undergrad at Eastern Michigan. Like I said, I have family in Mississippi, family in New Orleans. Like my great grandfather is from New Orleans. And so I got interested in that because my family and some friends that I know had to migrate up to I had to migrate up north because of Hurricane Katrina. So me looking back then, yes, I knew this was a climate issue. It was an environmental issue, but then also it was a racial issue. Those are people down there. And finding out that this is going to happen due to man-made storms, right? We cause these issues by the cars we drive, okay, because we need gas, right? And gas causes CO2 emissions into the air. And all this stuff is going to keep happening because of our lifestyles. So fast forward, me experiencing energy justice, because our energy, where we turn our lights on or where we we turn our heat on, those are considered energy. So energy justice is a whole movement, a part of environmental and climate, the climate movement. And so I experienced some energy justice impacts because my utility bills were too high for me to afford. So it wasn't the fact that I couldn't pay my bills, because I actually was in a moderate income. I couldn't afford it. I had to make a choice, like, they call it the working poor. So that I was considered the working poor. So I couldn't afford it unless I didn't pay for childcare, or unless I didn't eat, or unless I decided not to pay my car insurance. And I was like out here riding dirty, for like that's a real thing. Well, I need to decide if I'm going to pay my utility bill or am I going to pay my car insurance, because, and so I was caught in those situations, and come to find out, no one should get shut off in the mid of winter, and Michigan is cold. And so there was a whole campaign about people getting shut off in the wintertime, because no one should get shut off in the wintertime because they can't afford their bills. So we get funds from the federal government called light heat funds. If you can't afford your bill, you get these funds, and then they put you on a program to get an energy audit on your home. Couldn't do that, was a renter. 2, I didn't qualify for the program. Remember, I'm the working poor. So if you're on government assistance, you get a cutoff. Okay. I think I was making $41,000. I didn't qualify because I made like $2,000 more. So luckily, I know people, they pulled some strings. I got back on I got my lights cut back on because it was like only 2 days. I got this guy named Jackson Copel. He introduced me to this movement of utility justice. He was like, there's no way you should be getting cut off in the wintertime. And then the NAACP has a report about lights out in the cold. So this was a whole bigger thing. I went to budgeting classes. I had my brother look at my financial, like, what am I doing wrong here? He was like, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. It's either this or that. So, and I know a lot of people get caught in those situations. So this is not just a science thing. This is an economic thing. This is not just a racial thing. this is everything. So that's why I'm like, okay, this can happen to me. I know what's happening to people I know. And so now there's case studies that, energy, just cutting on your lights or cutting on your heat can cost you more than your rent. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna get to the your talk show. For the people who are watching, she has a talk show that he has as well. But I want to talk about how did you get appointed to the Governor Whitmore's Council of Climate Solutions in 2021? How did that happen? Because that's a big deal.
You know what? It is a big deal because we need people on those councils. Those councils, those appointments. A lot of those people, a lot of us, we make those decisions. And so, like I said, we created this plan. We have focus groups to make sure things like Flint water crisis doesn't happen, to make sure that people who experience utility shutoffs don't happen. People who need access to clean and healthy food happens, right? Because food justice is a part of the whole environmental thing. And then jobs, clean jobs, having solar jobs and all that. So I got into it because I'm an advocate. It's a profession, right? My first job was a weatherization coordinator, and I didn't go to school for this undergrad. I just landed a job because I needed a job, and I'm good with people, right? So I was a weatherization coordinator at this community action agency. And so that's what really got me into the whole environmental movement, indoor air quality, talking to people about getting an energy audit on your home. Your home could be making you sick and all that type of thing, because a lot of this comes down for the federal government and people just don't know about it. People don't even think it's a thing because I just need to pay my utility bill, my DTE bill, and all that type of stuff. And okay, I'm sorry, I got distracted.
That's all right. That's all right.
My daughter calling me, she's like, I want to go over. Yeah. So I got appointed to the council because someone said I needed to be on there because those councils or those appointments are majority affluent people, rich people, industry people, white people who don't privileged people. I would say privileged white people, even though there's a scale of white privilege, right? But the white people up there who making the decisions, not the ones at the bottom, low income ones, right? Mm-hmm. Who are experiencing the same things that a lot of people experience. They are making these decisions. And so if you don't have representation, not the token black folks, that's not me. Token Negroes, that's not me. You need people who are going to advocate for all communities and stand up to people who just are in it for the best, for their self-interest. And so someone I know who worked for the governor under one of these departments asked me would I be interested. And I was like, heck yeah, do you think I do this? And they say, Marnese, they need you. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it, but I'm not that token black person. That's not me. Mm. So she was like, Marnese, just go in there, of course, speak your heart, and you just got to hold them accountable. So I was appointed, and I've just been doing it ever since. So.
All right. I'm glad. You know what? I'm so glad you're not a token Negro. We need more people like you and other higher positions as well. And speaking of that, you were the former Midwest and Great Plains States Regional Organizer for the NAACP's Environmental and Climate Justice Program. Talk to me a little bit about that program, and does it have to do with what you're doing right now, being appointed with the governor's?
So NAACP, so that was my job after I graduated from graduate school at Mary Grove. It was a great position because our members in the NAACP have a lot of different programs. We all know that NAACP focus on voter engagement, getting people out to vote, helping people out if there's a crisis in regards to police brutality, anything to do with racial justice. Environmental and climate justice is a racial issue. And so with the members, I was the one who were training them, getting them involved so they can go out to our respective communities because people know the NAACP name. However you may feel about them, because some people feel like the NAACP is not doing anything, but then there are long standing members of the community who have been involved, and NAACP name is trusted. So the members will go out and educate the community about these impacts that happen, for example, in Ohio, Michigan, Flint water crisis, and things of that nature. So me, I was the trainer, the advocate, and pretty much getting them equipped to go out into these communities. So now, as related to the Climate Council, it was just pretty much a stepping stone to get me to stand up to people who not believe that this is a Black, brown, low income issue. So it's all the same. It's all related. It's all connected. It's just the organization. Okay. And so that program focuses on energy, environmental impacts, water issues, and getting members involved so we can go out there and be strategic and advocate for people who just may not want a membership in NAACP, because everything is not for everybody, but just go out there to stand up for our communities.
And Miss Marnese is standing up. She's standing up for us out there. Now, let's talk about the Marnese Live Show. Now, how long have you been doing it?
Oh my goodness. I started the Marnese Live Show in the pandemic, April 2020. And I always wanted to do like a talk show type of thing because at the NAACP, I did a ECJ Live, that stands for Environmental and Climate Justice Live Talk Show at our national convening. And it had a lot of big wigs like the father of environmental justice, Robert Bullard, Mustafa Santiago Ali. If you go into Roland Martin's show, if you watch him, or if you there are some big time people in the environmental field, and I hosted them on the ECJ Live Show. And I found that I was really good at it. And so the Marnese Live was started because I wanted to connect with people around social issues and life issues. And sometimes social issues are life issues. I talked about energy justice, which is a social issue. However, this is a life issue that happened to me, right? And so I wanted to lift up the fact that we're all kind of going through the same thing and that we need to talk to each other regardless of perspective, because everything is perspective. Everybody is not going to agree. However, we need to understand, like, I'd rather talk to, so I'm not a Republican. I can't say I'm a Democrat, but I vote Democrat. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk to Republicans about certain things so I can understand the opposition, right?
Hold on, Miss Marnese. Why is it when you said that your head cocked to the side and everything, like, yeah, I've been looking for him too. I'm waiting for one of them Republicans to pull up so I can talk to him.
I'm just saying, we need to talk because you should be scared to talk to people who don't agree with you, right?
Right.
And I think people are scared because they may change their mind or get another opinion. And so I love talking to Republicans. So it's kind of like playing chess. You got to know how the enemy thinks or the art of war.
Yeah. So the Marnese Live Show. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick because how many episodes have you did off the top of your head, just a ballpark figure?
Maybe 30.
Okay, so we 30 episodes in. What's your best show? Give me your best show.
Oh,
I'm just saying so the people who are watching this can be like, oh, let me go check out her show real quick. Let me see which one, I need to be watching. So which one was the best show in your opinion?
The Black male dynamics. I had a panel of all Black men on the show, and they were talking about parenting to patriarchy to gender roles. And I was going to do a second one on alpha male. Oh, I did do one on alpha male, alpha females, but I wanted to take that to the next level. But it's triggering. Like, y'all, man. I'm like, y'all a bit much.
So was they ganging up on you?
They tried it. tried it.
They tried it. They didn't know who they was dealing with. You was in there throwing haymakers just back.
I'm like, look, hold on. This is the Marnese Live. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know y'all not about to play me, okay? But we gonna be respectful. Women need to know they role and trying to stop take our manhood. I'm like, how we do that if y'all not insecure? Like, how do we do that?
Yeah. So for the people who are watching, go check that out. Matter of fact, when this is over with, I'm gonna go watch it because I gotta see the things these dudes was talking about, because it sounds like they was on some old don't emasculate us and let us be men, and y'all women need to be quiet. Is that the kind of temperature?
Yeah, but a lot of them were respectful. A lot of them were kind of like in the middle, like, okay, yes, there is a role for both of us to be aligned. And I found that just doing my research, that's the best type of relationship. But then there's still some men who are, considered traditional, who just want women just to shut up. And I'm like, those days are past. Like,
good luck with finding that woman, bruh. Because especially if she's a sister, yeah, good luck, bruh. That she ain't sitting down and she ain't shutting up for no damn body. She don't care who you are, what you got in your bank account. She got something to say. You gonna damn hear what she got to say. You can believe that.
But then their rebuttal is, well, you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life. I'm
like, hold on. So you alone? But they're saying the assumption is you're gonna be alone just because you stand up for yourself. Is that basically what they're saying?
Based off everything you just said, yes. Or you're gonna get a beta male, a weak male, or a feminine male. Yeah.
He's
so that's a bigger conversation. But.
Yeah, that's a deeper conversation. So with the Marnese Live show, what's the objective? What message are you trying to convey out there? What message are you trying to get? What's the audience for your show?
So my audience, the message, first of all, the message is that we have to respect that people are people and that we all bring something to the table, regardless of ideology, political ideology, sexual orientation, racial, regardless of what color we are. We all have different perspectives. And the only way to achieve a livable society is that we have to learn to work together and see each other's perspective. We don't always have to agree, but we can work together. And then also, I think my objective was to give people a platform to talk about these issues freely and be their authentic selves. Like, I don't need for you to sugarcoat anything unless you just are going to run for political office and scared that this is going to be used against you. No, if you need to talk about something, let's talk about it. And if you have an end goal, like my end goal is for people to just really respect each other and see each other as human beings and that we're not going to be the same. And then, so me, it's, and I applaud you for keep going with your podcast and everything that you're doing, because doing these shows, it's a lot. It's a heavy lift.
I'm glad you said that. I'm so glad because majority of people think, oh, I can do that. I just need a camera. And it's like, okay, you can do that. But I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot more into it. And then once they start doing it, you see these people will do a show or two or three, and then they'll stop because they don't realize how much you have to be consistent, how much time, energy, and effort goes into it. Lord, don't get me started. I don't even want to go on a tangent. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I get it, though. And because people ask Marnese, when the Marnese Live coming? I'm looking like sometimes there's an emotional attachment to the topics that you're talking about. I'm like, oh, I wasn't ready for that topic. Oh, my goodness. I need to take a step back. I caught myself crying one time. I'm like, you know what?
Ooh, that was getting deep. What topic was that? What show was that?
I think we were talking about sexual abuse.
Ooh. Was it men and women on the panel, or? It
was women, and I'm finding that it was just women. It's hard for men to talk about that.
Yes. Yeah. I've talked about it as well on a few of my episodes. Not me, but I'm just talking about the sexual abuse and the taboo and the uncles and the aunts who, you know, abuse these kids, and they grow up to be adults and they don't know how to let that out, or especially with the black people in our community, we feel like a therapist is a weak route. Like, I ain't going to no therapist. I'm gonna just pray about it. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you also need to talk to somebody and get that off you, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff, and some stuff you don't even know you're dealing with subconsciously. After you start talking, it comes out, and you're like, damn, I didn't even know I remembered that. I blocked that. So people, please, if you are dealing with any kind of sexual abuse, physical abuse whatsoever, please, first and foremost, you know, talk to somebody, and then, you know, go from there. But that's my little spiel on that. So make sure y'all guys go watch that. And speaking of that, where can they tune in to the Marnese Live show?
Okay, so I am on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Marnese Live show, like I said, it takes a lot to put these shows off, so I am doing it monthly now because I did it weekly.
Ooh, that's rough. That is rough.
And I'm making sure that, you know, I'm getting people now, more me bringing on the subject matter. People are coming to me and saying, hey, Marnese, I just want to come on the show to talk about this. So I'm changing a little bit of the format. But we're going to do a show in April, and it's usually on Thursdays. So, and I think we're going to revisit 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Okay. So y'all make sure you follow her on Facebook, the Marnese Live show. Is that the name for it on YouTube as well?
Yep.
The Marnese Live show on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that button. Tell a friend and tell a friend. One quick thing before we get into the questions with Q segment. You talked about earlier in the conversation about how you, as the old people would say, rob Peter to pay Paul, and you didn't pay your car insurance to pay your utilities. Now, do the NAACP have any type of program, not just for minorities, but just in general, to help out families during the winter months that may not be able to pay their heat and electric? Do they have any kind of programs that can help them out?
No. So NAACP is more of the advocacy group. So to advocate for programs like that, I would suggest go to the Urban League or your local community action agency organization, or the Department of Human Services. That's where you get your food stamps and things like that. They, like, if your stuff is about to get shut off, you have to put in the application and show the shut off notice, but they are supposed to give you resources to get your utility bill cut down, or for you to get access to an energy audit. So I would say first start with the if you buy. And the thing is, though, the problem is they only like to give the money when your stuff about to get cut off. Okay, when you about to get that shut off notice. So that's the problem. But I would say to get ahead of it, everyone has a local community action agency who get those funds. They're called LIHEAP funds. Okay, to make sure that your energy burden is lowered. And this is the problem, though. This is the advocacy part that we all need to step up in. For those renters, you have to talk to your landlord to get those energy audits. If you're a homeowner, it's a totally different thing. It's more accessible. So that's that economic part that's really hard. The hardest part, actually, for the work that I do, making sure that people can afford it, or they give money for rebates and things like that. So I would say just start there at your local community action agency. They have Catholic Charities. There's another organization. But there should be a place in your community that provide resources. Your local United Way, if you have United Way, they're supposed to know where all this stuff. And the problem is that a lot of nonprofits or government agencies, there's not a good wraparound for resources. So it's really hard.
So people, there it is. If in the wintertime, I know the springtime is right around the corner, so just something to keep in the back of your mind. In the winter months when it's really harsh out there, Follow her advice. But anyways, we get ready to get into one of my favorite sections of the show. It's called Questions with Q. Now, during this segment, Miss Marnese, she has 5 cards right here. Now, what she has to do, she will call out a number. Now, I will flip that card over, read it to her, and she has to answer it. Now, she has to answer 3 out of 5. If she does not answer any of the questions, she has to change her profile pic to a Conversations with Q picture for an entire week. Miss Marnese, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, 1 through 5. Call out your first number.
Number 1.
Number 1 it is. So I'm going to hold it up so people can see I really did. Now, I'm going to tell you. I know you want all these social justice boards and climate and environmental boards and councilwomen and all that. These questions are crazy. And the first question, here you go. So let's get into it. Put you on the spot. I bet you don't answer this one. I bet you don't. If you could have one night with any of your social media followers, who would it be and why? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I told you ain't gonna answer. I told you ain't gonna answer. Yeah.
You know what? Mm-hmm. See, I'm gonna go with my mom.
This chick here. Okay. That was good. And
my mom is fun, and I know I am going to come home with a hangover. It's gonna be Hangover Part 6.
Hey, so, I need to hang out with moms too. Let me hang out with mom. She sounds like she's fun.
You thought you was about to get me. Come on.
I thought I was. I thought I had you. Okay, call out another number.
4.
All right, so I'm gonna pick over 4 and put it up there. So let's see. If you could pick your favorite guest from your show, who would it be?
Oh, I'm going to say Russell Rabb, because he says things in a way that's hilarious, it's comedic, but it's real, right? So he has a way of changing people's mind, but then also challenging the other panelists. So I liked him because he's funny as heck, and he know how to reel people in. Like when a conversation is about to go left, he was like, "Look," he actually texted me, "Hey, I'm about to help you out, sis." And he actually kind of he co-hosted a lot of my shows. When I had COVID, he came on and just did it because I was sick. So he's one of my favorite guests. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So shout out to him. One last number. What we got? 2, 3, and 5.
Oh, I can answer them all. You got these questions are easy. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna do 3.
Name the person who gave you your worst kiss ever. Go ahead. I'll just wait. I mean, since you said you want to answer all of them, we'll get to 2 and 5 as well. But go ahead, floor is yours, Miss Marnese.
Oh my gosh.
What happened to these are easy.
Oh my goodness. I can't even remember his name. It was so trash.
But that's why you should remember it, because it was just that horrible. I remember my worst. Lord, I'm still traumatized.
This guy named Russell.
Look at your face. Look at your face. Look at your face.
I was 15 and I liked him. I did. But he was kind of like following me around like a stalker. And then, I gave him a chance. It was like a first kiss type of thing. But he was all hitting my teeth. And it was like all up in here. I'm looking like, bro, I got an injury. What?
Nah.
No, I did.
Yeah, I'm not. And did you let him know? Like, hold on, bro, get up off me. What are you doing?
No.
Needless to say, you didn't like him no more after that.
No.
Poor guy.
I'm kind of cutthroat with certain things. Like, nah, this ain't gonna work.
She said, guys, this ain't it. This ain't it. Okay, then, Mark.
I mean, at a certain time in your life, you just gotta know it's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, you know pretty much either after that first initial meeting or that first date, you kind of know, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't gonna work out. Okay, well, since Miss Marnese is Billy Badass, we gonna answer 2 and 5. Which one you want to get?
Number 2.
Who? What is the name of the person who gave you the worst dating experience of your life?
See, I don't even remember his name, but he's my frat brother's cousin. Okay,
I don't remember nobody.
Clifton. No, because I will forget your life if you like Clifton, your cousin. So we should know your cousin. We went to go see The Incredibles, a cartoon, and he was in animation, all that type of stuff. Awesome. By the way, going to movies is the worst first date
because you don't talk.
Had to learn. You don't, but he did. He talked through the whole. Through the whole movie queue, telling me about all the graphics, the animations. I'm like, bro, I would like to watch the movie. It was the worst. And then have the audacity to have popcorn.
It's like, bro, come on. I just want to watch the movie. I just want to watch the cartoon, bro. I don't care about the graphics and how they did it. I don't care about none of that. I just want to watch, bro. Can you shut up?
See, this is why I drive to dates now or anything like that, because look, I'm a
y'all rode together?
Yes, I do.
So you couldn't go nowhere.
I can't go nowhere. There was no Uber going back. No.
Dang, she was stuck from beginning to end. There was no running. There was nothing you could do. You just had to sit there and take it. Dang, you couldn't text your homegirl, hey, come pick me up at the movie. Tell them it's an emergency, that you broke up with your boyfriend. I need to come talk. Like, you couldn't think of nothing.
I don't know what I was going through. But the thing is, I'm nice, you know.
Are you sure?
I'm not that. I'm nice, but I didn't call him back, so I stayed. So that's nice.
She said, I stayed, so that's nice. All right. So let's get this number 5. If you could spend 24 hours with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Andre 3000.
Why Mr. 3000? No judgment.
Oh, you want to spend some time? 24 hours?
You gave it a look. No, stop. We're not great. No, not doing this.
So Andre 3000, because Andre 3000 seemed like he'd have you changing your whole mindset like really quick, and I feel like he would have fun. Like, he seemed like he's very adventurous, but then also like on some Black futuristic stuff. So I'm a person that likes to learn from other people. Mm-hmm. So 24 hours, you know what? Dang, I want to say Jay-Z too. Gosh.
Ooh, only one. Jay-Z. Only one. I'm sorry,
you know
Marnese.
I'm going to stick with Andre 3000. Jay-Z would be awesome, but
you don't want to sit with Jigga and get that billionaire talk and learn? And
that's what I said. I had to think about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of knowledge. Not to say 3000 ain't got a lot of knowledge, but that's a billionaire. So I'm looking to learn from the billionaire. I can hang out with Andre 3000 anytime.
You know what? You're right. You're right, but you have to manage. So I feel like Andre 3000 could manage being a good person, even though manage being a good person. Because when you get into the $1 billion up there, I can imagine JC experiencing some compromising situations where he had to be cutthroat.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think Andre 3000 could help manage that type of situation.
I'm going to tag him. I'm going to cut this up and clip this up and tag Andre 3000. We're going to put this in the universe. We're going to speak this into existence. And this time next year, you're going to have an Andre 3000 story. And I'm going to sit there and listen to it. That's what we're gonna do. But Miss Marnese, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit down with me for a conversation with Q. Let everybody know where they can catch you at. Let everybody know where they can write you, just in case they want to come on the show one day. Where are you at on all social media platforms?
I am on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. My Facebook is at 5,000 people, but my Marnese Live, you can just follow me on Marnese Live. So this was cool. I'm glad we did this. And thanks for letting me.
Yeah, last week we had the winter storm here and it knocked out power in a lot of places, so we couldn't do it then. Then today we was having a lot of technical difficulties. It was frustrating me. You didn't see me, but I was throwing my hat and everything. I was so frustrated. Yeah, I was over going through it. I was going through it. But everybody, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Marnese Live Show. Follow her on Facebook. Follow her on Instagram. Wherever she at, make sure you in the same spot as well. Also, check out Conversations with Q22 at Yahoo. I mean, not Yahoo. I didn't say Yahoo. YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube, or you can check us out on Facebook as well. Miss Marnese, thank you again for taking your time and sit with me, chop it up a little bit. We're going to have to do a part 2 because I want to know about your Eastern Michigan college days. I got to hear about the parties. I want to hear about your mom because she sounds like she's fun to hang around. But Miss Marnese, thank you so much for joining us. And we getting ready to get up out of here. Make sure you download us on all major podcast streaming platforms. And as always, I want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. We up at this thing, y'all. Peace.
Thank you.